Adam Deshawn with another video. So I'm going to address this because I get this question quite often in my comments, and I also get it a lot on in my Instagram. So is it worth it, like RN versus BSN, is it worth it to get your BSN? So I'm going to say yes and no to this, okay? This question really depends on your goals, your where you want to work, your financial goals, and also your career goals. This is where this dilemma really plays into, right? So as far as where do you want to work in the future? If you want to one day potentially be in management, if you want to potentially one day gain more advanced degrees, getting your BSN is absolutely a must-have, right? You got to do it. Let's say if you go to a RN to MSN program, you know, you're going to get your bachelor's on the way. If you want to be a nurse practitioner, you're going to get your bachelor's on the way. But I don't want people to feel like that just because everybody is out here getting it or doing it, you have to too. Because it really depends on your situation and what you want out of your own career. Now, I will say this. Now, I don't know, like pre-pandemic, it was a different conversation. A lot of the hospitals started to want the RNs to get their bachelors, which is one of the main reasons why I ended up getting my BSN when I moved here to Nashville. I really thought that a lot of hospitals would want their RNs to obtain a bachelor's degree. Now, post-COVID, I don't know if we're having the same conversation anymore, being that, you know, you just lucky to have a nurse. So let me just offer you guys a few little morsels of knowledge before you make your ultimate decision. Where do you want to work? Now, if you're okay with being a bedside nurse, you having your RN is absolutely sufficient. You having a associate's degree level RN has the same clinical skill set as a bachelor's degree prepared RN. It's as simple as that. RN programs and BSN programs clinically are the exact same. I'm sorry, I can't even get my words out. Are the same. There's nothing that a BSN nurse can do that a ASN nurse cannot do. So if your goal is to work bedside, if you work at a nursing home, if you work for hospice, if you work on a med surgical floor, a ICU, and you're content with that, a RN is sufficient. Now, if you want to potentially one day go into a management role or maybe advance yourself within the company, it may not be such a bad idea to go ahead and get your BSN. Now, I will say this, and this is a lesson I had to learn early on, right? So when I got my BSN, I was still working at the nursing home, right? I was working in long-term care. After I finished my bachelor's, I was already an RN. When I finished my bachelor's, I went to my administrator and I said, hey, you know, just let you know, I finished my BSN. Will there be any more compensation for me? Because now I'm a bachelor's degree prepared nurse. He looked at me and said, no, we pay our staff, we pay our nursing staff based on their years of licensure. Huge eye-opener to me, meaning that I don't care how many degrees you have, if you work a bedside job, meaning that your skill set to do that job is reliant on your licensure, you're not gonna make any more money. Oh, how about that? Now, let me give you guys an example, because some people may not be grasping this. Let's say you got two RNs, right? Let's say you have an RN here that has been an associate degree RN, just has her associates for 20 years, right? And you got this RN who's been an RN for 5 years, but this RN has a master's degree, but she's only been an RN for 5 years. The associate degree RN with 20 years experience is gonna make more than the master's degree prepared RN any day. It don't even, like, depending on where you work. Now, let me not say any day. If it's a bedside job or a clinical job, that nurse is going, that associate degree nurse is going to make more than that master's degree prepared RN because they are doing a clinical job. Now, let's say you have a RN, let's say the director of nursing role comes up for like let's say a facility needs a new nurse manager, right? Now you got a BSN RN. Now let's say you got an RN and you got a BSN, right? So they may consider that BSN more than they consider that RN because he or she has a more advanced degree. That is when it really starts to make the difference on what added credentials you have after you get the associate degree RN. Now, if you got a hospital that doesn't care about that and see that this RN has 15 plus years experience, has been with this hospital for 10 years, she really knows and really understands, you know, policy and procedure, that RN should get the role. But they also will consider that BSN because he or she has a more advanced degree. So it really depends on your financial goals. Now your career goals. Now let's talk about finances, right? So we already talked about how if you work at a bedside job or clinical role, they don't care how much education you have. They only care about how many years of licensed experience you have. Now let's talk about how much schooling costs to get a bachelor's degree. Now, if you go to one of these really expensive private colleges, you're going to go into debt. Trying to get your BSN, you're going to go into debt for, on average, about $40,000. I'm just being real. Look it up. Okay, look it up. Depending on what school you go to, right? So think about this. Let's say you work a clinical job. Let's say you work at the hospital. You work on a med-surg unit. You work on an ICU unit. And you really don't have you really don't want to advance more. You're comfortable working bedside. Is it worth for you to go to a BSN program, give these people on average $40,000 over the next 2 to 3 years? And I'm assuming that you're going to get some type of a student loan to pay for this education, because who just has $40,000 in their bank account? So add that on. Now, mind you, you're not getting any, like most facilities are not going to pay you any more money because you have an advanced degree. They're only going to pay you more money depending on your experience. Is it worth you to go and give the BSN people $40,000 for you to stay at the same role and make the same amount of money? Think about it. Just think about it. So I'm here to say this. I feel like especially in nursing, we are always like, you feel stagnant if you're not moving to the next role. Like if you're an LPN and not pursuing your RN, you ain't shit. If you're an RN and not pursuing your BSN, you ain't shit. If you got your BSN and you ain't pursuing your master's degree, you ain't shit. So it's like we always have this mentality that we got to get to the next stage in our career. But everybody, take a minute, think about your career goals, think about your future and your current financial situation, and then make these decisions. All of that, I say all that to say this. If you guys have any more questions, please follow me on Instagram at Adam Deshawn. You can DM me on Instagram. And also comment below the pros and cons of getting your bachelor's degree versus your just being an RN. I have links below. Those of you guys know I am now affiliated with scrubapparel.com. If you use the promo code AdamRN, you get 10% off your purchase. I am also affiliated with nursing.com, which is a nurse education online platform. Gets you ready for the NCLEX, helps you through nursing school. So all the information will be in the be in the description below. Happy nursing, you guys. Bye.